Obviously, the election is on everyone's mind, but there's plenty to talk about in the world of sports this weekend. Evan Kenney in studio to join us, and we'll start with the Holy Rosary and Lloydminster Barons battle in the football gridiron. That, of course, is going down this weekend on Friday, with both teams very successful in their semifinals against the Bonnyville Voyageurs and the St. Paul Lions, respectively.
Yeah, both teams offensively really put out, scoring 33 and 37 points respectively. And both teams actually shut down on defense, with the Holy Rosary Raiders actually shutting out the Bonnyville Voyageurs. So that's good to see, especially heading into this big battle, like you said, between the two Lloyd teams. Talking to Anton Amundrud after the game, he said, we've changed a lot since that first matchup versus the Raiders, so should be an exciting one.
Absolutely. That, of course, was not a great afternoon for the Barons, who failed to get their high-powered offense going. And both teams actually did start slow out of the gate against their opponents this weekend, so that's something both will look to change heading into Friday. For
sure. Only 7 points scored by both teams in that first half for each of their games. Like I said, they came on to score 30 points by the end of the game. With Anton Amundrud, he threw for 4 and rushed for 2 of his own touchdowns there, so that's good to see, get the momentum going. And as well for the Raiders, their running game really picked up, and they really just pounded that ball through once they figured out throwing's not really the way to go in that game there.
And obviously the story will be whether or not Amundrud can get going offensively in this game, because the Raiders' defense has held strong all season, and the Barons have only had one bad offensive game, and it was against Holy Rosary.
For sure, players like Clay Vetter for the Holy Rosary Raiders really shut down on that D-line. And then they got some quick cornerbacks there with Dylan Orio, just to name one there. So Anton will really have to get going with his legs as well.
And, of course, we would be remiss without mentioning the start of the ACAC season. Basketball begins on Thursday, but first, the volleyball teams had their home opener Friday night. Not a great outcome for the women, who lost in 5 and then lost 3-0 the next day, while the men's side win in 4, basically lose a tight first set, and then roll their way through the rest of the weekend to go 2-0 to start the season.
Yeah, good to see for the men. Last season, King's College just barely snuck in front of them to make that last playoff spot. So that was good to see from them. And for the women, obviously they lost some key players from last season, and they were taking on the top team from last season, the only team in the ACAC with a better record than them last year. So there's room to grow there still. It's still early, obviously, in the season. So, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
No, certainly. The women's team has been a dominant force in the past couple of years. Really, the main thing for them is a couple of their younger players, even some older veterans, but younger in terms of experience, like Belle DeVries, like a Kaylee Lewick, Janae Varga. Girls on the team like that need to pass the ball a little bit better. For the guys, obviously, though, who want to make the playoffs this year, their veteran core showing up, especially an Aussie like Matt Peck getting a lot of kills on the left side.
For sure, it's good to see, and they're going to want to spread the ball out, get it moving, and not stay static. You want to keep that ball rolling and keep that momentum from that first win.
Yeah, and that's obviously something they had talked about this offseason especially. Again, they are back in action after this weekend. They have a bye, and then will be on the next weekend, while basketball picks up on Thursday evening and afternoon.